Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Anime Bros podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rosario, joined by my brother, Angelo. And today we're going to talk about something we love.
Hey, everybody. So, welcome back to our Jujutsu Kaisen deep dive.
Part 2.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Let's go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, we're back. We're better than ever. It's been 2 whole weeks since we talked about this show. So, I know you're dying to hear more. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. They're excited to hear about our favorite moments. They missed out on that last episode because it was running a little long.
Yeah.
And we're going to take some time at the end. I don't know how long it's going to be to talk about the manga.
Yeah. I mean, look, we got a lot of notes here for favorite moments, and there's a lot we're going to want to talk about. So please stick around, listen to all that. And at the very end, I think we both just have some things we want to say on some stuff past the anime, manga, the end of the story and all. So we'll give a huge spoiler warning before we get there. And that should, not be a huge part of the episode. There's plenty to talk about that is already animated. And I'm pretty stoked to talk about some of these awesome fights, these heartbreaking moments, and everything really in between. So I think we'll kick off with something that happens pretty early on. I don't really remember. Did I put this or did you put this?
I did.
Okay. Doesn't really matter.
No. All right, I guess I'll talk about it.
Sure, I mean, yeah.
Well, the next one I put too. So,
okay.
But this is...
Yeah, give your thoughts and I'll read what I wrote.
Very early on, and this is the Sukuna versus the special grade curse in the prison, which is, I don't know, like episode 3 of the show.
Is it a prison or a school?
It's a prison.
Okay.
It's a prison. Because there's like some mental stuff Yuji goes through where like Megami's like, what happens when you save somebody and then they go on to kill somebody else?
Yeah.
Because there was one of the prisoner's parents is like, try to save my son, but he's, long
Yes.
so he goes through some like mental stuff there, really trying to figure out what like motivates him and
finding his morality.
Yeah. But that fight is awesome because a special grade curse appears out of nowhere. Like Nobara and Megami run off. Yuji tells him to go, and he's like, I'm going to fight him myself. And then he like loses a couple of his fingers, and then he's like, all right, I guess I'm going to die here.
Yeah, doesn't he lose an arm or a hand at least?
Maybe he loses a hand.
Because...
Yeah. But once Megami is has escaped with Nobara, Yuji's like, all right, we can let the real fight begin, and he lets Sukuna out to fight this special grade curse. And Sukuna, even with only having, I think, 3 fingers at the time,
not much of himself,
he's able to just completely wipe this special grade curse.
Yeah,
who had his like power was one of Sukuna's other fingers too, so he does get another one back.
Yeah,
it was like in his like heart.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, like he shoots like some sort of like not rocket, but like a beam or like something at Yuji as he's switching to Sukuna, and Sukuna with Yuji's arm that is gone, like puts the arm up, grows back a new hand and blocks it. Like, it's just so
it's
electric.
Pretty metal.
Yeah, that really is an awesome shot. And then I guess after the fight, did like Sukuna and Megami scrap, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't. He gets out and then he does the thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I think is this where Sukuna first like mentions that he's kind of interested in Megami?
Yes. Because that's their first interaction.
Which is I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, what does he care about this guy for? But then he rips Yuji's heart out, which is pretty metal.
Yeah. So that way he's like, I'm taking this boy hostage. So if Yuji tries to switch back, he's dead.
Yep.
There's actually, I wanted to mention a really funny meme format with that, where it's the picture of Sukuna holding Yuji's heart out of his chest, and it's like when like one girl like says that you look handsome, and, like the smallest compliment, and then it's that holding out his own heart.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah.
I always liked that one, but yeah, that's a crazy moment. I'm like, all right, Sukuna's kind of an ass. Like, I'm like, wow, he's so cool after that fight. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
he's like just that bad,
all
the time. So he scraps with Megami for a little bit, and then Yuji's like, it's okay, like we'll just let this happen, and then Yuji switches back and then dies.
Yes.
For an episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they strike up a deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'll bring you back, but like for 10 seconds, when I say, I forget what the word he says, I have to be able to switch with you on command.
Yeah.
And Yuji's like, okay, but if you don't kill anybody while you do it, he's like, fine. But also, we're going to do this, and you're not going to remember we had this conversation.
Yes.
And then he's like,
yes.
okay. But yeah, so then Yuji gets to come back after that.
Mm-hmm.
And begin some like real training.
Yuji in the box thing. Well, I guess they hide him for a while, right?
Yeah, because that's when he's in the basement trying to learn how to control his power with that little doll.
Yes. Watching Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Those are some fun moments. But,
they really are, yeah.
But yeah, that's a really cool fight. That was like that's the first like big event.
Yeah, early on, yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're on to something here.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, anything else you want to add?
No, I think that covers everything.
I'll introduce the next moment, too. This one I don't like as much as the first one, but it's still really cool. It's the first fight with Nanami and Mayuto.
Yeah,
because it's like right after you've kind of been introduced to, I'd say, both of them.
Yeah.
And, we did talk about Nanami a bit last episode, but I think he's a relatable character with not wanting to just work like a normal 9 to 5 for the rest of his life. He also doesn't want to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, but it's like, of the two, I guess this is better.
You gotta do something.
But his power is pretty cool with like being able to target weak spots. Like his like kind of like machete type weapon he uses is dull. It's not even sharp. He just uses it to hit like weak points.
Yeah.
And then he gets like another power up. This is when he fights Mahito for the first time and he is able to beat him. He gets like a power up, like an overtime power up. And that's also like, all right, I understand, man.
Yeah.
Once you're getting time and a half, I'd get a little stronger too, you know? I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't watched that in a long time, so I don't remember like some of the smaller details. But
yeah,
that's just a really awesome fight. I wanted to make sure I mentioned it.
For sure. No, I mean, it's cool to get introduced to their powers and all. And to see like two higher level people fight. Let's see. Next moment I want to talk about was after the whole like Junpei thing, and Mahito transfigures him into like a monster thing, and Yuji wants him to change him back. Does he like say that he will if he does something, or is it?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to remember. But he like says he's not going to fix. He might. I think he might, because why else would Yuji expect him to change him back into a person? Regardless, once Mahito says that he's not going to fix Junpei, Junpei then like utters some final words and dies, and Mahito is just uncontrollably laughing at Yuji, as well as Sukuna. And I think this is kind of another meme format. It's like both of their faces at the top and Yuji in the middle, and they're just laughing at him.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Interesting. Okay. But this is a moment early on, and we talked before about like Yuji finding his morality, and I mean that's going to be an ongoing thing for him. But he like comes to realize that he just thinks curses are pure evil, laughing at this situation that they've put him in. So this sends him into a complete rage where he vows he's going to kill Mahito, and he's like really, really strong in the fight going forward. And then Nanami shows up, and they both fight Mahito, and they seem like they're going to beat him, but he runs away.
I think it's the first time Yuji uses Black Flash, too.
It might be, yeah. It definitely might be. But,
yeah, there's another really cool moment we didn't write down, but I wanted to mention while we're talking about that fight. There's a part where Mahito tries to mess with Yuji.
Yes.
And transfigure him, and Sukuna basically just, like, kills him in, like, one shot.
Yeah,
I think that's how Mahito gets weak in there.
Probably, yeah.
It's because he keeps trying to mess with Yuji's soul, and Sukuna's like,
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like, that's how, like, Sukuna's not nearly my least favorite character, even though he's just pure evil. Like, he's just got so much, I don't want to use, like, Gen Z terms, but he's got so much aura.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
We are Gen Z.
I know what we are. But it's just really awesome to see.
It's like almost a Gen A term.
I don't know what the new ones are called.
Gen O.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, it's super cool.
Yes, I agree.
He's just like badass enough that he can pull off being just like pure evil.
Mm-hmm. Next one I think is you.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is the next arc after that one with like Junpei is they do like a festival at school between the two schools, and
cultural exchange event.
Yes, and then there ends up being some cursed spirits who crash the party. Yeah. Very strong ones, special grade, in fact, including Hanami, which is like the nature curse. I think, like I think it's she's like people's fear of like natural disasters.
Probably, yeah.
But she's very, very strong. Is the point I'm trying to make here. But you know who's strong enough to stand up to her, and that the answer to that question is Yuji and Todo, the two brothers. Yeah. This is after they had their like, you know, Todo thinks Yuji's his brother because they're like the same kind of girls. But you know they have really good fighting chemistry together. Like you got to admit that. So it's really awesome to see that fight. This is when you get to see Toto's actual power, because all he's done to this point is just just use pure strength. So it's pretty awesome to see like Toto's full, not even full capabilities, but most of his capabilities, being able to teleport multiple things at a time and just keep, you know, his opponent on their toes. And him and Yuji are able to kick Hanami's ass. She does end up escaping, I think. Jogo helps her escape or something before Gojo arrives at the scene, but that fight is just one of my all-time favorites in the show.
It is like it's so brilliantly animated. I really
I wonder where that's gonna rank once like the rest of the series gets animated. But I'd say like of what I've seen, it might be. I think it's still my favorite fight.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I get that. I really do. It. It's done so well with Toto's power. Like, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
You know, entertaining, I think, is a great way to put it. I will also say, like, after that fight, in, like, an attempt to defeat Hanami, we see Gojo use Hollow Purple for the first time.
Yeah, that's because he, like...
Pretty electric. That kind of ends the whole...
Blast, like, a hole through, like,
the whole
land.
Yeah. So that kind of ends the whole fight, but it's like... Yeah, they had trapped Gojo on the outside of the domain, yep.
And takes him time to break through.
Yes, but he does break through because he's the goat.
Yeah, that's a great fight. And Yuji power like levels up a lot during that fight too, because he uses Black Flash again, but I think this is when he's able to use it like
multiple times. Yeah, it is.
And that's pretty cool because that's a super strong attack.
We've been kind of going in order here, but I realized there's something that like happens very early on that I didn't talk about, or we didn't talk about at all. So there's one more thing in season 1 before we start talking about season 2.
Well, this thing here is season 1.
That's what I'm saying. There's one more thing.
Oh.
But I'm going to talk about something else before that.
Okay, I was going to say. Because we're still in order.
Like the original Gojo versus Jogo is so
I was thinking about that.
I think you talked about it a little bit in the last one about him like kind of toying with him and all.
Yeah,
but
grabbing his hand.
Yeah. But to see how infinitely powerful Gojo is in that fight is amazing. Like he drags Yuji along with him to fight this special grade curse because he knows no matter what he's going to be able to protect him. Like it's so funny just so he can see the power level these people are on.
Yeah.
Like that's when we first get to see Gojo use Unlimited Void, his domain expansion, and like you get to see his eyes for the first time. Like it was just so electric. Really, really awesome. And doesn't he takes Jogo's head off and kicks it, right? Or something?
Yeah, because there's like a special little special things at the end of the episode, like little shorts, and all the curses are playing soccer with Jogo's head.
Yeah.
Those are underrated, the little Juju strolls.
Yeah, they were good.
I like the little like shorts at the end of episodes. A couple shows have done that, but those are like it's funny because it's like something like funny, and then like you'll see like all the evil characters like just like hanging out at the beach having fun,
doing dumb stuff.
Like they really are just like they're cursed spirits, but they're also free spirits.
That was good. I really liked that. Thank you.
I like those little shorts. They were funny. Thank you.
All right, so back to our what I actually have in my notes here. Unless you want to talk about the
the baseball.
I know you really like that.
I mean it's very short. It's like half an episode after the cursed spirits crash the big brawl between the other schools. They just decided to have a baseball game.
Yeah, instead of
I'm a sucker for a baseball episode, so. It's funny to see that they have Mechamar, the robot guy, is like a pitching machine. They're no, that's not cheating. I don't remember who even wins.
I don't either.
I don't know, but Yeah, it's nice. It's like kind of like de-escalating the plot before the next mini like arc here that you're going to talk about now.
For sure. So the end of season 1 ends at like this cursed location, a bridge where Megumi's sister was cursed, and she's lying dormant now. But they go to investigate the area, the big three, Megumi, Yuji, and Nobara, and end up encountering some really powerful curses. It kind of breaks up into two fights after Yuji and Nobara are able to escape the original threat. Megumi is then left alone to fight the super strong curse that's like kind of under the bridge. And he's getting beat up pretty good, and thinks back to like some things Gojo has said to him about his potential and not trying to like live up to Yuji, but trying to find his own way to become stronger. And like as he decides he's just gonna let go and let like his energy flow free, he goes like a little bit crazy, starts like laughing. It is very much so not the character we had come to know.
No, not at all.
Which I like. I love like the shot of him with like blood coming down his face and like a big giant smile on his face as he's laughing. When he first uses his domain expansion, the first of obviously the students to be able to do this uber strong technique. It's not perfect, but it was more than enough to defeat the curse. And this was an awesome moment of Megumi breaking through his own barriers that he's kind of imposed upon himself. We talked a little bit in the last episode about his potential and maybe limiting himself. This was an awesome moment where we see how strong he really can be. So it was great. And then as far as Yuji and Nobara fighting, the cursed paintings they call them, who were siblings, it's a whole thing. There's a lot more to it, but I don't want to get too bogged down in the details. But I think this was Nobara's coolest fight. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's it's pretty awesome.
Like comparing it to like season 2 is cool and all, but that's just like everybody goes a little crazy in this one too.
Yuji's like
he's even killed. It's Yuji, but Nobara, after being cursed by one of the techniques of the cursed paintings, it's like cursed blood or something, and it's like it's going to kill her. It's just going to take a matter of time. And she starts to get like this like tattoo looking thing that like grows up her arm and like onto her face and all. That's like a rose. It's a really cool look. But she decides that if she uses her technique on the curse that is now on her, it will hurt herself, obviously, but will also hurt the cursor because it's the blood. So she like drives nails into her wrist, just like using her own resonance.
It's pretty metal
on herself to defeat the curses, or the one curse, and it works. But it's absurdly cool. Yeah,
it's metal.
It is metal. Like, there's no better way to describe it. That ends up working, and then through teamwork, they defeat both cursed paintings. The first one they defeat, and then the second one's like crying over its brother being defeated and killed. And these curses really aren't like some of the other ones they fought. They're kind of humanoid. They have just flesh and blood. And eventually they kill the other one as he's trying to escape. And to go back to Yuji's like search for morality, a search for like his way of thinking and the way he feels about things, like it's made evident here that not all curses are the same. Like he just saw one cry for the death of another, and there was a genuine, strong connection between the two. So with what he has previously experienced and deciding that all curses are evil and like pure evil, in what had happened to him previously, I think this juxtaposes that in a way that like he has to realize that not every one of them is pure evil, and what he's doing is not going to be easy. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to kill all the curses because they're all evil, and I'm going to feel morally righteous about that. Sometimes it's not going to feel good. So I think that was a really cool way to end the season. And it also introduces Choso at the end as their big brother of the two paintings that died.
Yeah.
So sets up season 2.
Talk more about him later.
We might just talk more about him.
All right.
So that wraps up favorite moments from season 1.
So we're not going to go to season 2 yet. We're going to go before season 1.
We are
the movie,
flashback,
which was Zero.
Yeah, JJK Zero, awesome prequel movie. Was the original
and we talked
manga that came out
a lot about Yuta, so this is like his movie, his moment to shine.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, he ends up fighting Geto before he became Kenjaku. And that fight is just so awesome, getting to see like Yuta's full power. Well, not even his full power at the time.
Yeah, and him like leveling up and starting
and
to realize
being
more.
able to, stand toe to toe with Geto, who's a special grade curse user,
Yeah.
super strong.
Yeah.
Pretty much like second to Gojo. So it's really awesome to see that fight.
Yeah, not second to Gojo after this fight though.
Well, I was saying Geto is.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's not like he gets rinsed.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of stuff that says Geto is the weakest special grade user, and there's not many.
I guess. Well, at the time we didn't know about the other one. This came out, so there was really just the two of them.
Yeah,
and he was the weaker of the
two.
Sure. Or because Toto's wasn't special.
No. Yeah, I think this fight at the end of the movie is really awesome. Like, Geto uses his Uzumaki technique, which is where he combines all of the curses that he has stored into one final attack, which is just...
Uzumaki?
Yeah, it's
like Naruto?
That's his last name, yeah.
Is there any significance?
No, I don't think so.
Not like to Naruto, but like... I didn't know if the Uzumaki meant anything.
No, I'm sure it means something. It's also a Japanese horror manga.
Oh.
The Junji Ito. It was the one they made
Spooky.
this year, and unfortunately.
Yeah, was that the one with the bad animation?
Yeah.
No. All right. Yeah. So
Uzumaki means whirlpool, vortex, or swirl.
Does Naruto swirl?
Whatever.
I don't know. But yeah, it's like a vortex of all his cursed spirits.
So that's really cool. That's just the most anime attack ever. It's just like, I'm going to put all of my power into this one spirit bomb. And to counteract that, Yuta and Rika level up through a declaration of love from Yuta. And Rika opens a third eye and becomes more powerful and shoots a giant laser, and it collides, and they beat the Uzumaki and defeat Geto through true love. It was really awesome. Really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's a good finale to that arc.
It is. Every time I type Geto into Google Docs,
it corrects it into
Ghetto.
That's pretty funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that finale there is really awesome. Gojo does end up finishing off his old best friend.
Yeah, he does what he could have 2 years before.
Before that, Geto gives him Yuta's student ID.
Yeah, that's what he had stolen. Yeah,
and then Gojo returns it to Yuta, and he's like, "Oh, where'd you find it?" He's like, "Oh, my best friend found it, gave it back to me." And that moment always makes me tear up.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Really and that made me do that the first time, but now once the beginning of the second season, you get a lot more of an understanding between the two of them, a lot more background. It just it hurts more, and you don't really see that Gojo finished him off in the movie because he comes back the next season. You don't find out till season 2 that Gojo actually did kill him, and it's just that Kenjaku brought him back, brought his body back and his powers. So that's a really powerful moment for me. Definitely one of my favorites in the whole series, I'd say.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Let's see.
I think this is something you added.
Well, yeah. So it's
we both like it. Yeah,
sure.
Pivoting back into that.
So we just went to the prequel.
We're gonna go.
Now we're going to season 2,
which starts off with a different prequel.
Yeah,
which is long before this other one. This is back
prequel.
Back when Gojo and Geto were in high school, when they were in Jujutsu High.
Yeah, the timeline's funny. This was such an electric way to start the second season. And it's 6 episodes, the Hidden Inventory.
I think it's 5.
Maybe 5,
It's very short.
So quick. But you get so much out of it. And a lot of that is through the final fight with Gojo, Geto, and Toji, where Toji sneaks up on Gojo because he doesn't have cursed energy, so he wasn't blocked out. They couldn't sense him. and like stabs him right away and like beats him pretty darn good.
It happens pretty fast.
Yeah, Geto's able to get the Star Plasma Vessel into like Tengen's, I don't know, core place. I don't know. His lair. I like lair. So like Gojo does hold him off for a little bit, but he gets beat pretty good after being thought to be the strongest sorcerer. I mean, he's still a high schooler, so he's not anywhere near where his full potential will be. But pretty crazy to see him get beat by somebody without cursed energy.
I mean, he did completely catch him off guard.
Without a doubt, and he was exhausted from the days previous. So
running his technique for days at a time.
So no, it was not him at his best, but still, what came out of nowhere was really crazy.
And I'm like, what? Gojo's alive now.
No, exactly. Especially
he gets like sliced up bad.
in the like he goes for his. That's just crazy.
Like he's bad.
So after Gojo's defeated, Toji makes his way down to the same lair, and shoots the Star Plasma Vessel in a pretty emotional moment.
Because Geto's like, do you want to do this? She's like, not really.
Yeah, and he's like, fine.
And he reaches out his hand, like, we'll go back.
Yeah.
There's another funny meme with that format.
Yeah.
It's tragic. It's one that actually one of my friends sent in like a group chat, never watching the show. And one of my other friends who had not seen that yet.
Oh no!
In the group chat, I'm like, dude, you gotta unsend that. Like, don't look at the group chat.
That's crazy.
And it's like that scene of like him holding out his hand. It's like the universe when I finally get a girlfriend.
Oh man!
And like I'm like, oh, there's a lot of memes from the show.
You got some down bad memes, pal.
No, that one I didn't even find that one. One of my friends who'd never seen the show. I guess he just. But that was that moment's pretty heavy too.
Yeah, it sucks. But
yeah, that's why I just can't like Toji.
He was doing a job.
He's not my least favorite. But like people are like, oh, he's awesome. Like he's good.
Sakamoto killed people, sucks. And we love Sakamoto.
Yeah, but I don't know those people.
No, that's fair. They were probably bad people, hopefully. So after this, Geto sees Toji. Toji's like, okay, my job's done. But says that he killed Gojo, and Geto says something along the lines of, is that so? And immediately brings out his strongest curses. It's just so cool.
Yeah, that fight's...
the shot of him like with his arms at his sides and like the curses coming out.
That fight's really cool in Tengen's like lair.
Inside the lair, yeah.
It's a lot... I think it's more of a fight than his fight with Gojo.
It might be. But yeah, it is cool, like... things falling and moving around, like the hallways I think of. And Geto is eventually defeated. He like slices his back up, right?
Yeah, he gets scarred up.
Because he's strong, but he's not enough for Toji. And
yeah, nobody was.
I'm sure he's pretty blinded by rage as well, Geto, in that moment. But eventually, Toji makes his way back outside to find the goat. The goat. Gojo's awakening is one of my favorite parts of the manga, and I think the anime did it pretty well. On the brink of death, Gojo figured out more about his technique and his flow of cursed energy, and figured out how to use reverse curse technique, which healed himself, and that's something that as we go on more and more, like reverse curse technique is pretty important.
Yes.
To be able to heal yourself. And he's just like, I think in the manga it says at the top of the page, like everything just feels so right now. Toji might comment, I don't know if this was just in the anime or if it's like in the manga, I forget, like comments about him like seeming like he's high based on the way he's speaking and on.
He's just like floating in the air.
And then he delivers probably my favorite line in the whole show, throughout all of heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. I have a poster of that on my wall. It's just so sick. And then Gojo unleashes his ultimate technique for the first time, something that he previously had not been able to do, where he combines both his red and blue convergence and divergence. I don't know, like pushing apart and bringing together. A red and blue to create hollow purple, which creates an imaginary mass that just destroys anything in its path, which we've talked about, in the one fight before. But it's awesome that this was the first time that he used it. He's kind of like floating upside down when he does it. It's like crazy. And then we flash over to see Toji with just a giant hole in the side of him.
You know, it is actually once again, pretty metal that Toji just like stands there.
Yes, yeah. Half of his
he doesn't
body's
like run
missing.
away. Like he's tough. Say what you want about him. I wish he didn't shoot Amina. Not a fan of that whole thing.
Yeah,
and leaving my other two of my favorite characters on the brink of death. But if it wasn't for him, who knows when Gojo would have awakened?
Yeah,
or if.
Yeah, but no, just so awesome, so awesome. But there was a lot of fallout aftermath after this.
Yeah.
Fight and after Rika.
Yeah, the boys.
Rico. Because Rika is the curse.
They both really went through it after this.
Yeah, without a doubt. Do you want to talk about Geto? I'll talk about Gojo.
Sure. Yeah, Geto. I mean, he's just still dealing with like his problems of like wondering like what's the answer, like how do we stop curses being a problem, and he's like going through it. I'd say like pretty depressed, honestly, and then
without a doubt
another special grade curse use or special grade sorcerer, the third one, I forget her name,
Yuki
comes up and like starts talking to him, and I don't know what she was trying to accomplish, but after his conversation with her, that's when he's like, oh, so what if like everybody's just a sorcerer?
Well, yeah, that's like what the two options that they had laid out were.
Yeah.
That's the only way that there won't be any curses, and the only two ways to accomplish that are get everybody to use cursed energy, or
kill everybody who doesn't have cursed energy, which, I mean,
they both acknowledge is impossible.
Start doing that right away.
No, they both acknowledge that's impossible.
But
well, he knows at the end of the day, like that's not something he'll ever be able to do, even if he strives for it.
No, but after that, he starts to go a little crazy, kills some people.
Yeah, he goes back and kills everybody at the...
Doesn't Gojo do that?
No. Gojo doesn't kill people. He says that they maybe should, but he doesn't do it.
Oh, Geto does. Kills all the people, like the religious people who were like parading around.
Well, they're not parading around. They were clapping as Gojo walked out with her dead body.
Oh.
And that's kind of the switch.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, oh, Gojo's kind of like... I was like worried Gojo was going to lose it, but then like later Geto goes back and does that, and then he rescues like a couple of young girls who were like being like imprisoned and just because they have power.
Yeah.
Which, it's messed up. It's kind of like in My Hero with like what's the Liberation people? The Liberation Army?
Mm-hmm. Paranormal Liberation Front.
Yeah, that's the whole group.
I don't know, dude.
But like he doesn't want people to treat like sorcerers like they should be treated as gods. Is basically what he's kind of thinking, and he thinks like normal people are like lesser than humans.
Yeah, monkeys, as he says.
Yeah, he said that a couple times. So I don't hate him at this point.
Yeah.
Like I get what he's trying to do. You shouldn't kill people but like rescuing different people who have cursed abilities who are being like abused and mistreated just because they have power isn't right, So he's a complicated guy.
Yeah, and I mean once he takes over the church, he is doing good things by like curing people from curses.
Yeah, even if he hates them.
Yeah, he gets the curse and calls them monkeys. So it's like a win-win situation.
He really, besides killing the people like in the beginning, he didn't do that much bad stuff. He's just got some like weird ideals.
Yeah.
Which I get it. Curses are bad. You don't want them to be like a problem, but I think it could just be easier to I guess if you're not born with cursed energy, you can't really learn how to fight curses. But Maki has glasses that let her see curses. Can't we just are they not able to be mass produced? And,
I don't know. I mean,
she's
also from the biggest.
Tools? Yeah, I know. That's how she's able to get it. But I feel like, I don't know, if it were me, I feel like that's a lot better solution rather than wanting everybody who doesn't have cursed energy to just die.
Well, of course, Angelo, you're not a mass murderer.
Well, no. There's I said, there's other shows where being powerless is a crime. Or you're just looked down upon heavily.
Yeah, for sure.
There's other worlds where they're farther along in this plan,
Yeah,
and you've seen it happen.
It's still not great.
No, like, Black Clover, Asta's...
Yeah.
He's not, like, a criminal. He's bullied because of it. And, like...
I think what you're getting at is MASH. Like, I haven't seen MASH.
Where he's a criminal and supposed to get the death sentence just because he wasn't born with magic, even though he's stronger than, basically everybody.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... I don't know. That's my Gato talk.
For sure.
He's still one of my favorite characters. I just really like his power, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, after Gojo's awakening here, the gap between him and everybody else increases infinitely. Where he was already stronger than everybody, now it's made evident that nobody's going to be able to come close to him. And you get to see him train a little bit more with Geto and Shoko in school. But... there's just nobody that's going to be able to be on the same plane as him. And I think I maybe talked about this 2 weeks ago, but he like kind of is somewhere in between a god and a man, but he's neither. And that's a pretty lonely space to be in when there's nobody else there. So really he just becomes somebody who's powerful. That is what defines him. That is what he is power. And that, I think, is probably a very lonely existence for him. The breakup scene I wrote down here, after it's known that Geto was killing people, Gojo goes to confront him. Geto, I think I said last time about the lines he delivered, like, are you the strongest because you shot your Gojo, or you shot your Gojo because you're the strongest? But also, like, Geto is so frustrated in that moment because... he will never be able to exact his plan of killing every non-sorcerer, but Gojo could do that. He could do that. He could kill everybody in the world that's not a sorcerer, further cementing the gap in their powers, and further cementing the gap in their hearts.
Yeah, I think Gato's even like, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill me? And Gojo's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, he puts his hands up to start to use the technique, and he lets him go in that moment.
Yeah, there's like obviously I feel like they're like looking back over their shoulders, see if the other one's looking.
Yeah.
It is a breakup scene.
Obviously, Gojo years later does finish that job, and all in all, like Gato didn't do a whole lot of awful compared to a lot of villains. Especially knowing that the one that we're dealing with in present time isn't him. It's just his body and his power.
Yeah, so like all the bad stuff in like season 1 and 2 was Kenjaku.
Yeah, like Geto really is in 5 episodes in a movie.
Yeah. Well, he does attack. Like, what town do they attack in the movie?
I don't know.
Because they attack a town to cause like a distraction.
Shinjuku, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Somewhere else. Yeah.
So, like, that's pretty bad, too.
No, I'm not saying he's a good guy.
I'm saying more people probably died in that than killing a religious zealot group of, like, bad people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I mean, back to present time, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And the rest of this, I think, will be the Shibuya incident.
Yeah.
I remember when season 1 had ended, I decided I was going to pick up the manga. And, like, what was coming next got a lot of hype. And I, like, was first reading the manga, and it was a flashback. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because all I had heard about was the Shibuya incident.
You're like, what might that be?
Like, this was hyped up beyond belief. And it did not disappoint. There's so much good stuff in here. The first of which for me, and it kind of begins with Gojo because obviously the curse's plan is to get him sealed, and then from there, with the strongest gone, they'll be able to do whatever they want. So Gojo, in like the deep layers of the subway, has his encounter with many of the curses. He's got Choso, Hanami, Jogo, eventually Mahito. And he's holding them all off at the same time, which is pretty incredible. Fighting with Hanami in particular, like, just so visceral, rips like her horns out. He's like smiling the whole time, laughing. He doesn't have his blindfold on, so he's just full power. And then like walks her toward a wall using his infinity that's in between the two of them to just get closer and closer, squish, 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 and eventually just explode the curse.
Yeah, that's insane. There's actually a good meme format with that, too.
Oh, thank you. Hit us with it. Yeah.
So it's, that scene of him just, like, destroying her with it looks like just like aura, basically. It's with his infinity.
Yeah,
but it's like, me at the doctor's after I eat, like, 30 apples. Because it's like, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's an old saying. Yep. I just thought it was really funny.
That is good, yeah.
I'll have to show you it next time I see it. It's pretty funny.
Eventually, after that, the whole area is ambushed by Mahito and subways full of, like, thousands of transfigured humans that he's going to unleash on Gojo and also the regular humans that are trapped down there with them that obviously he wants to protect. And all the cursors are like, what are you going to do, dude? Like, you're going to have to kill people. Is Gojo going to kill people now? And in like a split-second decision, he like makes the crazy decision to use his domain expansion Unlimited Void for 0.2 seconds, which fills people's heads with enough information to like incapacitate them for months. I think it was like 3 or 4 months that it was going to take.
But it won't kill them.
No. And for the curses, like it incapacitates them for like a few minutes, a minute. I don't know. But in this short time, Gojo goes absolutely beast mode and just destroys all of the transfigured humans. It's such a wildly animated scene of him like running around. What? I know, Geto. I know. Or Geto. He's laughing at the typing. And it's such a fun scene to watch. And then eventually he kills them all as the other curses are starting to wake back up. And it's just him with a little bit of blood on his face holding 2 transfigured curse humans in heads in his hands. And he's like kind of catching his breath. And then he just sees this little cube on the ground, the cube that we've seen in the past as the prison realm.
Mm-hmm.
And he hears a familiar voice. The voice of someone who was his friend, his only friend, or his best friend. Probably his only friend.
I think his only friend is what he says in there.
He does say only friend, yeah. Whose voice he hasn't heard in a long time, who is someone that he knows he killed. And that is enough to stun him for a second, allow the prison realm to activate, and to trap him inside of it. He doesn't go down without a fight. Like, it takes a little bit of time as he's getting sealed. Turns around, like, starts to talk to what we thought was Geto. Immediately sees through it as not him, after being initially surprised by the voice.
Yeah.
And then that is kind of when Kenjaku reveals his whole thing. He like takes the stitches off his head and like lifts up his head to see the brain. But after that, Gojo is sealed.
It's like the flip side of like what Gojo and Yuji did to Nobara and Megumi in the first season. He's like, oh, here's your long dead friend.
Yeah, in the box, yeah.
I think it's pretty funny. It's,
it is funny.
Not quite as funny when it happens to you, man.
That's true.
But
like that's something that was being built to throughout the whole show thus far is Gojo like getting sealed.
I knew it would happen because Gojo's just too strong.
Yeah.
And that's what Kenjaku said, like, in the first season to, like, when the Curses started to form their alliance. He's like, you need 2 things. He's like, we need Sukuna on our side, and we need to seal Gojo.
Yeah.
So, I figured it would happen. And there you have it.
Yes, indeed. Want to talk about your next moment here?
Yeah, so this is happening a little after, because it's revealed to Yuji that Gojo has been sealed.
Mm-hmm.
I think in like an earpiece that Mekumara left behind after he died. So he's trying to, get there to save Gojo, because if they leave with him, it's going to be a lot harder to survive and, win this fight. But Yuji runs into another challenger, who is Choso.
Yes.
We had mentioned him. He's the brother of the 2 cursed paintings that Nobara and Yuji killed in the...
Exercise.
Okay. Kind of. They weren't like cursed. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like he thinks he killed them. They say exercised. Whatever makes you sleep better at night, I guess. But Choso's really, his real only motivation is to like revenge his brothers, right?
I'd say so.
I think that's why he like joins up with the other like really strong curses. He uses blood manipulation. right?
Yeah.
Similar to one of the students in the
Yeah.
rival school, which is kind of crazy to see two people using the same power or similar powers.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool fight. It's definitely an emotional one with Choso carrying all his rage and, you know, wants to just avenge his brothers, and Yuji, like, I think he starts to, like, feel bad about that because, you know, they weren't, like, just pure evil.
Yeah, I mean, we talked already about
Yuji ends up completely getting rinsed.
Yeah, he got beat real good.
They're fighting, like, in a bathroom. It's, like, tight quarters, but, Choso just whoops him. But after, like, he, like, sees, like, Yuji knocked out, he starts to have, similar to Toto, having some old memories pop up. Of Yuji being his brother. This one's a picnic. It's the four of them, the two that died, and Yuji and Choso having a picnic together. He's like, "You're my brother," and then, you know, Choso's like, "Oh shoot,
what's going on here?" Yeah.
Like, so he, like, I feel like he, like, I think he, like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, a part in the opening where he's, like, screaming.
Yeah.
So he's going through some stuff and he just runs off, and then Yuji gets, like, kidnapped.
Yeah, he's knocked out. Gets fed a finger.
He gets fed like 8 fingers.
Gets fed a bunch of fingers.
By the two now, I think they're like 20 or teenage girls that Geto saved all these years ago.
Yeah. They were part of his crew. And the whole crew with Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel. They revive. Who's off just like hanging out with Yuta.
Yep.
For some reason.
Yep.
But yeah, they put all those fingers, you know, make him eat all those fingers so Sukuna will come out, and they're like, "Hey, do me a favor since we revived you." What do they want? I think they want him to just kill Kenjaku.
Yes, yeah.
And then he's like, "Nah," and then kills both of them and goes on, like, a rampage.
Yeah.
Which you'll talk about more here.
For sure.
Just trying to, you know, segue into
I like it now. No, so there's a lot of cool stuff with Sukuna fighting in Shibuya, and what really is the essence of the Shibuya incident and destroying the city. You know, there's the fight with Jogo, which is awesome.
I don't know if we mentioned that, but
we did. I think.
Okay,
let's talk about it a little more though. The fight with Jogo is cool. Like, that levels a lot of the city and just flames. And it's cool to see toward the end of the fight, Sukuna's like, "All right, like, we're gonna fight on your terms," and just whips out fire out of nowhere. Like, how does this guy have fire powers too?
Substantially better than Jogo's.
Yeah, instead of seeing what rest of the fight there is, that's when, and you had said it last time.
Yeah, it just cuts to Jogo and he's hanging out with all his dead cursed friends.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that, but Jogo really is just like a source of humor in the show.
Yeah, he gets bullied pretty good.
He's like the Yamcha of cursed spirits.
For sure.
Yeah, like his head gets kicked around. Yeah, it's so funny. He's like, "I'm going to show you my pure power."
Yeah.
And, like, it's just
that's
gone.
Yeah. But the biggest fight here is Sukuna versus Maharaga. So this is the strongest of Megumi's shadows, his 10 shadow technique. One that he cannot control. One that will not be released until he is defeated and has never been defeated before by a 10 shadows user. And oddly enough, Megumi whips him out as a last resort against that weird blonde guy with the hand bone sword.
That's who he...
Yes.
That's like a crazy power.
Well, see, and he had already gotten beaten up pretty good. He already had his fight with Toji. But yes, it's like his last resort.
Well, that's just all he has left in the arsenal, I guess.
So Sukuna's fight comes about because if I always say his name wrong, Maharaga's not defeated, like, Megumi's going to die. And we've already said that Sukuna's interested in Megumi.
Yeah.
So Megumi has...
Megumi.
Did I say Megumi?
Yeah, Megumi.
Megumi. Whatever. Sukuna's interested in Megumi. And thus ensues a really, really awesome fight. There was like a bit of controversy with this when it first came out, and some of the animation being unfinished, and Mappa really pushing their people too hard.
Oh, yeah.
So that really, like, it sucks. I'll say that right now. In, like, the whole of the anime industry, like, that stuff just happens too often, and it's pretty brutal. Like, I'm certainly willing to wait longer for the health of the animators. And not only, like, is it going to be better for them, they'll deliver a better product. I get that money needs to be made and these shows are churned out every week, but like, I don't know.
Were they doing something else at this time?
They're doing a million.
I mean, they were doing
Mappa's always
Attack on Titan wasn't done yet.
No,
was it?
No. Yes, I don't.
Chainsaw Man.
Mappa does
Chainsaw
a
Man
million.
I think Chainsaw Man was
it was
done.
over. Yeah. Regardless, they did like animate a lot of for the Blu-ray release, which I think is on Crunchyroll now. Regardless, this fight was incredible. It really shows the true power of Maharaga, and in turn the true power of Megami, if he was ever able to control this Shikigami. It's an awesome fight. They destroy the heck out of the town. They're throwing each other through buildings all around the city. And I'm trying to think, like, does Sukuna use Malevolent Shrine here? He definitely whips it out at some point during the Shibuya
might.
incident.
I mean, that's the
like
strongest person there.
An insane amount of the town.
I mean, who else would be even worthy of that? I don't think anybody else there. So.
No one.
I'm pretty sure that's when we see his.
But he does eventually defeat Maharaga. And the weird blonde guy. I called him Weak Kid. The blonde guy. I forget his name.
It's just weird.
Yeah, he's wacky. It's like really thankful. He's like, "Oh, thank you for defeating him." Like, and Sukuna's like, "You can go." And like as he started to walk away, he just gets sliced in half.
That guy, like the weird hand guy, he was like about to either kill, I think,
Nobara. Like he was,
and then Yanami
oddly strong.
Yeah, just weird.
Did we talk about Nobara at all?
We talked about what happens to her in the last episode. Okay, I don't need to talk about it anymore. If I hear one more thing, are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about it a little bit.
I just don't like Mahito.
But incredible fight, destroys the heck out of the city. I'm sure caused mass carnage. Pretty wild. But it is after this that Sukuna returns Yuji back to his body. And what ensues is just pure, raw emotion. I think it's really, really cool. It's not happy emotion, but it's still awesome in the form of the story, or in the sense of the story. And it's Yuji looking upon the mass destruction that has just been caused by his body. No, he did not do it. No, none of it was his choice. But if he had never taken on Sukuna, it wouldn't have happened. So he is just ridden with guilt and despair. He's like just screaming and like clawing at the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Like clawing, like his fingers are like just bleeding. It's crazy to watch. And yet, from there he keeps going. And it's after this that he sees, I forget who gets clapped first. Do you remember? Nanami.
They're fighting together.
Okay.
Yuji and Nobara.
Yes,
There's just two Mahitos. He's like cloning. Because they like high-five to come back into one, and then
because Yuji's fighting the real one, she's fighting the fake one, and that's how that all goes down. So he sees Yanami get defeated by Mahito, just exploded.
That scene was crazy.
It is, yeah.
Because like Nanami, I forget who he fought, but he was like already half dead.
Yeah,
because he had fought a bunch of other guys, and like
maybe Jogo.
I don't know who he fought. Maybe. Or was he with them when they were?
Oh, he was with them when they were. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that really when
world?
Toji comes back. Yeah, he was definitely against the lobster guy.
Yeah, he was already like with Maki and that other guy who was like fast.
Yeah, the head of the Zen.
Yeah, I think he was with them.
He might have been
because he was already really beat up, and then like the scene is like him just like stumbling through and like. Mahito's there, and then it cuts to like him just like strolling around on the beach.
Yeah,
it was a crazy scene.
Yeah, I think Jogo was there too because he's all burned up. I think from Jogo.
Oh, because that's how. Yeah, because Maki gets all burned up. They all get all burned up.
True. Back to.
Yeah, I guess it is Jogo who like just really makes him have a bad
So he sees
day.
Nanami die. Nanami says like you're not your next.
Kind of like now it's your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn now.
I think now it's your turn. Isn't that what? That's what All Might says.
No, he says you're next.
Does he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, maybe the English dub says no, it's your turn. Maybe you're next is the.
That was the new movie.
Well, I think that's why it's called that.
No, I don't know. In English, he definitely says now it's your turn.
regardless, it's up to you now, Yuji. So he sees Nanami die. Obviously, that's heartbreaking. He now has to fight Mahito. That fight sucks for him. Then, like we had just said, there's two Mahitos, one whom has his power, one whom doesn't. Nobar is fighting the one that doesn't. Yuji's fighting the one that does. But they start running toward each other, the two Mahitos. And if they touch, they'll switch. No, they don't touch. They just clap. They're
just running by each other.
Yeah.
They just clap for
they high five for fun.
Yeah, they clap high five.
And they switch it up, so Yuji's fighting the fake one, Nobar is fighting the real one. Nobar is then defeated by the real one. So Yuji sees one of his only friends get part of her head exploded. And from there, he's really got nothing left in the tank.
No. I think we talked about where the fight goes from here, because he is, one of his, not even a friend. One of his apparently now two brothers.
Yeah, his brother.
Come and help him, because we talked about that fight with his locket that has Yuji and the idol he's in love with, and then the two. I don't know if we did, but the idols with Toto fighting.
I don't think we did. And there's crazy idol music being played.
Yeah, well, I guess it's her song, but she's with Toto. I just wish I could understand or just be inside Toto's head for 10 minutes. Because it must be a crazy place.
Well, one of the coolest parts of that fight that ensues is
I think
he does, yeah.
Does
usually throw a rock or something? I forget what it is. He throws something real hard at Mahito, and then Toto switches with it, and it's just him kind of T-posing.
Yeah, he's
flying at the speed of light.
I think it's a rock. I forgot about that animation's got a ton of
so good.
Memes too.
It does, yeah.
I didn't realize how heavily memed this show is.
Yeah. Then the fight goes on.
That's a great fight.
Toto eventually is defeated, loses a hand, so he can't really use his power anymore.
I think he still does. No?
Nah.
Well, he still got him crazy.
He pretend he comes back later in the fight as Yuji's fighting Mahito by himself, and does a grand thing, and I think hits his chest, but nothing happens. It was just for distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, Yuji just beating the heck out of Mahito, and that leads me to my final moment here, and that's that's 5 minutes behind.
Okay, we'll talk about our final moment.
57. Sorry, and this was another one of my favorite couple panels in the manga. Mahito's kind of crawling away from Yuji because he's just facing his imminent death. And there's parallels to, in a snowy forest, a rabbit running away from a wolf. And the wolf's just kind of walking slowly after it, and the rabbit's running real fast. And it mirrors that with Yuji walking over Mahito. And Yuji delivers the "I am you" line, mirroring what Mahito had said to him previously. Mahito said that you or me, we both kill without a thought, it's what we do. And Yuji now in turn finally agrees with that. Just as Mahito had killed humans that never stop, Yuji vows to spend the rest of his life killing curses. And it's just such a hard panel. The "I am you," Yuji's mouth's all jacked up,
Yeah, he's beat up.
But it's incredible. Unfortunately, it's cut short, and Yuji's not able to kill Mahito.
What happens to Mahito?
He's exorcised by Kenjaku and then used in his Inumaki.
He eats him.
Yeah. But yeah, the Yuji's "I am you" is so cool. And it's the final step, at least thus far, on this journey of his morality, and what's right, what's wrong. And regardless of how it feels, he's just going to continue to kill curses. That is what he will do. Maybe he is the same as somebody on the other side in that sense, but what he's doing he believes is right. So no matter how much pain he has to go through, he just went through infinite pain. Melancholy of the infinite sadness level pain.
It's my favorite album.
I know, it's a double album.
I know that. It's my favorite.
That's good. But regardless of this, he's going to keep pushing forward. I like Yuji.
As do I. Yeah, so, I mean, that pretty much brings us to the end of the second season.
Yeah.
There's... What happens at the end? Is that when Kenjaku reveals the next thing?
Yes, yeah, he does like a giant thing.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to fight him because that's when Yuki, the other...
Yes, Yuki shows up out of nowhere,
and
yeah.
Choso...
Wait, did we talk about Yuta's return in the last one?
We did.
Okay.
And Choso helps Yuji too.
Yes,
he's like, you're my brother, I don't care.
Yeah.
If like we fought, if I beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool moment because I'm a big Choso guy. But yes, that's when, the new next kind of thing's announced. The Culling game.
The Culling game arc.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, I guess this is a 3-parter, dude.
Yeah, I'm cool with it being a 3-parter. Like,
so,
we're prepping. I said we'd have a lot more to say in the manga. So.
We're at an hour, so I guess no manga spoilers today.
No manga spoilers. You guys made it. Congratulations. We really like this show.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. That's what I'm thinking about for like later series. Are we just gonna like? Are some of our other ones gonna be like crazy?
I don't think other ones are gonna have the sauce that this one's had.
I think that the last one we do is gonna be like a 5-parter.
I mean, that's all
easily.
That's all you though. It's both of us, but not as much.
Attack on Titan.
Oh,
that's
shoot.
our last one.
I was thinking yours. Sorry.
It's so loud for the.
It is, yeah.
No, my number one show is Fruits Basket anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Oh, it is both of us.
I think for when we get to One Piece, I'm just gonna have to do a solo ep.
Yeah.
We'll do one together. I'll do a solo.
You could do, that works.
But yeah,
listen to it. I guess the Attack on Titan ep, we could do one for each season.
This is some behind the scenes action for everybody.
Nobody's still listening. Yeah.
I will when I listen to it.
Fair enough.
For quality control.
Good. I mean, you can go back and we can think about. Yeah, I think it's gonna be quite a few episodes.
But yeah, if you've been listening this far, thanks for joining us on this ride. And if you've read the manga, join us on the next part.
Yeah, join us
coming maybe next week, maybe later. Who knows?
Who's to say?
We could keep it like in our back pocket, save it for a rainy day, or we could do it tomorrow.
We probably won't do it tomorrow.
No, we about that work. But
I'm off tomorrow.
Thank you guys very much for listening to part 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Great show. Would recommend.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Peace.